Welcome to the Flashpoint Campaigns Tournament. This is turn 1. I am playing in it, and I'm playing as the Warsaw Pact. I believe the scenario is Lesson of War. We've decided to strong push on this northern side and try and come around on a flank. My reasoning behind that is I kind of want to avoid all this fighting throughout these woods. As you see, there's lots of exposed terrain right here. So there's tons of hexes with tons of exposed terrains. I'm really concerned about ATGMs, tanks, a good recon screening force. This is going to slow us down quite a lot. I wonder if like a strong push right through the middle would make more sense. I don't like this number 2 move right here. I kind of want him off the roadway before he comes into contact with this wooded area. So it's going to slow us down, but we're going to all kind of have this massive combined arms push into this lower left area or this northern area. I'm still not super comfortable. This unit's kind of pushing directly through the middle. I'm going to change actually how he's moving as well. And so we're going to come around. Crossing this terrain right here, going into this lower valley is a bit difficult, but I really want all these units off this roadway. All right. And we go around everything. It slows us down quite a lot, but it also provides us with a lot of cover, and it's kind of a unique way to play. I think it's kind of unique, it's interesting, and it's a bit different than the other ways I've approached this scenario. I've already adjusted a lot of these units' SOPs, so if we go to the SOP manager, I've kind of removed some of their tactical initiative. Their acceptable losses is substantial. I'm not really okay with that, but they're going to fire at their maximum range, and they're going to relocate after each fire mission. My reasoning kind of behind all of this is I want them to stay mobile. We do get reinforcements in 60 minutes. So what time is it now? So at 1200 hours, at 100 hours, we're going to have reinforcements. And then we're going to have reinforcements at 200 hours, 0200. So we'll have a large contingent of forces on this battlefield. And if we can kind of maintain some at least tactical initiative and momentum, if we're in this area, especially harassing their back line with these BMPs, T-72, T-80s, we should be having a relatively good time. So that's what we're going to try to do. I don't really want to like stonewall them right here. Remember, we need to maintain speed, movement, and we always need to kind of dictate the pace of our fight. There are a few things I am concerned about, right? There's this massive roadway that goes all the way to our back line, back here where our FARP and our IGLAs are. We haven't moved up any of our anti-air yet. Our anti-air is going to be maybe a bit later. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the anti-airs right here, this unit. These IGLAs with a SAM system, surface-to-air missile. But it has a BMP, so that is some good firepower we could probably put to use at some point. But we're not going to worry too much. And as you see, some of our units, or like your unit composition, is quite large. We do have Conquerors, I believe. Let me take a look. As you see, we do have Conquerors ATGMs, 4,000 meter range. So we're going to be operating fairly close. So like basically like 4,000 meters would be like 6 hexes. There's no good lines of sight or lines of fire to really get into that position. But I'm hoping this works out. And if my opponent sees my turn and just counters it, that's perfectly fine. I mean, good for you. And then we do have some on-map artillery. So as you see, this is our maximum range. So let's do a little bit of baiting. Let's kind of think we're going to push through this general area. I want to like shut down these two. I want to shut down at least this town. This would be really, really close. Like that would be like a good recon unit. And I want to like shut down this area. This would be a really aggressive play if like if the opponent would like secure these woods right here. That would be a really, really aggressive play. That would be aggressive. This would be a bit casual. So I'm going to assume he's going to try and get into this wooded area and kind of shut down our defense. So let's shell. What do we have? We're going to just say suppression. We're just going to drop some of these. We can move them if we're not comfortable with it, but let's think through it. We want to support this advance. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like we're not going to hit all of those, but it's just like, right, we only like 60 rounds each. Basically that's 3. So we're going to hit 1, 2, 3. 4, 5 aren't really going to happen. But if we really wanted to continue or sustain that fire, we could do like 30 rounds. And that saves us a lot of ammo. Can I just type it? I can. So basically it goes from 1 fire mission down to like multiple fire missions. And then I think at 4, like by the time 5 happens, that's kind of cutting us off. But I don't foresee 5. Especially if a unit's going to stop there, but we're going to see. Try and not shell our own units. Like 1300, 1315, a lot of these units will be in position by this time. So that's our initial. I wish you could provide like multiple different types of fire to some of these positions. Like if we were to say right here, could we actually edit this barrage? We could change it to smoke visual right there. We'd do like 10 or 1, 5. So we're kind of mixing it up a bit. And I'm actually going to do smoke visual on 1, 2. I don't think anyone's going to be there initially, but I want to bait them a little bit. I don't want them just being like... I want them thinking we're going to go down that main roadway. So we're also going to try and trick them a little bit while we think about this. So we have like smoke, high explosive mixture. We're going to kind of bait right here that we're going down this roadway. Bait that we're going down this roadway. High explosives, kind of open that lane up. High explosives, and then high explosives. So basically what we're going to do is kind of like play with their emotions a little bit. I think that's a good idea. Kind of like telegraph our movement. I think if we telegraph our movement, it might convince them that we're not going to go down this northern attack. So let's see if we can do that a bit more with this artillery. So let's go barrage suppression. And we can drag these around. So we're just going to think this through. So we're going to do smoke. Let's smoke like on this roadway as well. So we're going to do, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just drop 5 markers while we think this through. So 1's just going to be smoke. Smoke visual is fine. Smoke visual. We're going to take that bad boy down to maybe 10. We're going to say apply. So basically what that's going to do, that adjusts our fire time, but it also like obstructs some movement over here. So we might think we're on this roadway to kind of approach this area. So where's 2 at? 2 is a bit interesting. I do kind of want to cut movement off down here. So I'm going to transfer 2 right. So if I was this person, I would try and get into this tree line right here and see where they're moving on the road. So we could actually do a smoke visual right here as well. Smoke visual, smoke visual. We'll just say another 10. It won't let me type 10 for some reason. There it goes. We're going to apply. 2 is supposed to be smoke visual as well. 10, apply. So we have 1, 2, smoke, smoke, smoke. So basically a wall of smoke right here. So that's going to definitely bait them a little bit that we're going to strong push. I wonder if we could kind of move it back and layer it a bit. But we do have 4 and 5 back here. So let's move on to 3. So let's shut 3 down a little bit. So this roadway is going to be a bit tricky. I'm fine with 30 rounds. 4, I want to open 4 up if they're going to kind of contest this area. Let's shell this area right here with just 30 rounds for 4. And then 5's in a bad spot, right? 5 is just not a good spot for us to be dropping artillery. That's really where we're coming in from. I think like hitting this town in the back line's okay, especially like way later. We can always adjust later on, but that's basically our first, 4 turns is we're going to like smoke and shell this. I don't think the artillery is as effective as it can be, but if it baits pretty good, we have all this smoke right here, and then we can kind of open up some of these turns with some artillery towards the end. So this town's really important that we don't run into units there or we don't allow them to fortify, so let's make sure we do that. I'm not super comfortable with this. It kind of feels wasteful. I mean, we're just thinking right there. And then 1, 2. So let's apply. All right, and that's a lot of firepower we're putting down range. So basically, the whole point is to just try and trick them that we're going to push really strong into this down this roadway, when in reality we're going to go around. And then we're gonna pepper random spots in this area, like 1, 2, 3. I think right here, what is 3? Is 3 smoke 2? No, three's barrage, and three's definitely like just short of the objective. So like right here, we could shell right here, we could shell right here, but if he thinks we're coming this way, then he might position himself 500 meters away. It sucks how open this right flank is. I don't really like that. I mean, they could like blitz into this position, but that smoke might kind of slow them down, right? Because we're dropping smoke right off the bat. And then like this roadway really sucks, but basically it might take a good 30, 40 minutes to get around, so he's going to run into reinforcements if he does try to do a really hard flank. And if he does recon up here, I believe he might be able to get into this position fairly quickly. He'll spot most of our force. He still has to contend with a lot of artillery. So that is that. Here's our scenario information. Marginal win at 69%. We should be able to steamroll these guys, but as always, we could make a mistake, and we're very likely to make a lot of mistakes. This is our first PvP game. We're not playing against the AI. So, I mean, they could kind of just get a bit wild with it. We have a lot more firepower than they do. So here's our main objective. Here's our secondary objective. We shouldn't struggle. I mean, as long as we don't get bogged down right here. I've won this mission as NATO, and the goal is to bog them down at this 1,000 point. This 1,000 point objective, and it's very easy. Like, right, look at all this like trees you can do. So if we kind of come around, like, wouldn't it be like way more crazy to like come around this way and just keep strong pushing and just funnel all our units into the back line and maybe like move through to the secondary? We could always try that as well, and maybe just encircle them. I don't foresee myself pushing through this area. It's a very open area, which means we're going to be fighting. They're going to be in like a fortified position, like this tree line, all these tree lines. And we're going to be shooting ATGMs across the open and then into trees. So we'll be basically fighting from tree to tree. I'm going to try and maintain some momentum. We'll see. We'll see how the artillery, we'll see how baiting goes. The smoke visual might definitely work. Let's take a look. And then, yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. Let's see what other fire support we have. Like, we have all this off map, like on map, I mean. So we have like 2 more we're not even using right now. So let's just do that. Let's go. Is it going to let me? Oh, no, 120. So these arrive in 2 hours. So these aren't even on yet. So we're going to get even more artillery here in a moment. So that's going to be good. Here's all our fire missions. And then let's take a look at our intelligence. Right, and that's my concern. So they're going to push up this roadway. So let's bring the threat assessment on, so we can actually pull a threat assessment onto the map. Import threat assessment. Right, so they're going to be moving up this way. Going that way would be silly, but it's an option. And into this objective. So we could like smoke it right here. Maybe we're thinking about this incorrectly. Like, if they're going to push this way, are we like... It depends on how fast they are. They could be lightly armored vehicles, so, and like how close they can spawn to the objective. Just because the symbol's down here doesn't mean they're going to spawn down here. So they could be like anywhere from like here to like here to like here. So they could get into this position fairly quickly. But if they do have to move a good distance, then we are giving them breathing room to operate. At the same time, we're cutting them off. So I don't know. Like, the more I think about it, the more it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But if anything... they'll position in these strong points. We're not going to shell these trees. These trees will be secondary at 220. We're going to just tear all of these trees up. I remember punching through these trees and kind of fighting down here in these woods once we get this objective. But even so, like think about like this open. If we push directly through this roadway, like down this road into this area, like look at this terrain right here. We want to push through, get on this road, and then get to the secondary. We don't want to push through the middle and then fight our way through these tree lines. Especially with like how open all this is. This is another hostile area. This is definitely wide open terrain. And so if we get in the back, this opens us up. We can fight through here if we need to and get on the roadway to the next objective. So, yeah, let's hit start. That's fine. I think it's, oh, it's we go, right? We're going at the same time. So anticlimactic right now. Weird. I'm kind of I'm kind of weird that kind of no one really engaged that unit at all. That hit us. It's weird. That headquarters unit really tried to take that fight right there. So he opts to he pushes his recon back here, which we saw, right? Which is going to harass this mortar team. So my turn would be to like root this guy out. That's what I'm thinking right here. At least with this ATGM team, I'm not a super big fan of that guy just walking into our back line after that. That kind of bums me out. But let's see. You're fine to stay on the roads. So that was weird. So I'm going to check these two positions right here. I mean, that's a recon vehicle. More than likely, it's going to have like some machine guns on it, not some ATGMs. It's kind of weird that he's like right here, this position, that he's just driving a headquarters unit back there with some ATGMs. So let's just repurpose this right here like that. That's going to extend our time. But if anything, we can shut him down. Pull this off and just walk him back. If he does try to retrograde out of there, it's 1, 2, 3. And then 4 is fine where it's at. They've kind of discovered our position as well. They know what we're doing, but the smoke still might confuse them a little bit. I still don't like... I don't really want to hunt this unit randomly down. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do with this Igla team if we can kind of counter recon. We're counter reconning a little bit, but that's... I just don't have the units to support like this back line the way I would like to support it. So we don't really want to use these headquarter units either. So, I mean, they have some BMPs. So I don't really like this position right here. Like getting on that treetop. But hopefully we can get in these woods and feel a little safer. That's going to give us another 1,000 meters, which is going to put our units into position. So let's do that. We're going to maintain this position right here, and we're going to keep going like that. So let's hit start. And let's just see. And that's the on map. We're still turn 1, right? So we're going to play through half our turn. It's always interesting when you see people get really, really aggressive because it kind of changes how your play style. And watching like a recon unit kind of just push directly through is a bit strange. But we'll see. We're in assault posture right now. It was interesting. Like that was our whole concern this whole time, was being in that position. I would like these other two units to kind of keep the movement going. Your turn. And let's send it. That's our first turn.